Hey, it says we're live. All right. I'll turn down Gypsy in the background. Hello, everybody. This is like my second time I think I've done this, so I'm going to make sure that it is live. Yeah, it's live. So deja vu for real, because I did this program on Monday. Y'all just didn't hear it. I did. But anyway, hello, David Barry. How are you doing, my friend? We got to get you on the show, buddy. Yeah, love to have you on. Lots of things going on. And David Castle, you too as well. Wouldn't it be something to see the two Davids together? I think I go that. Hey, Kaz, missed you. Haven't seen you as well. Missed David. And there's just so many other people. Let's see. Maddie, how you doing? Bernadette, beloved abstract, Peter, Gaza from down under. Good morning to you, sir. And so, hey, Skyheart. So, favor everybody, Bosto be to you. If the world would just practice that, really, seriously. But we speak it, it'll happen. Hey, isn't this a cool backdrop? So, what this represents, to let you know, is that this is reality. This is what everything is built upon. They say that there are 5 errors, E-R-A. We are in the second one. Hello, Lucky Stone. How you doing? And Wendy Johnson, Susie Q, and Sherry and Janie. Good to see you. So we're in the second one. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool though. I love the conception of what time is. I used to spend a lot of time back in the 90s meditating. I'd hike a lot in the Appalachian Trail. I lived in Knoxville at the time. And, I often thought about Star Trek. We now know that it's the reason why we thought of it is that because it's already been done. Yes, there are galaxies far, far away. Life is abundant. We're just under quarantine. That's just the problem. But in any case, they say that the universe is expanding. I don't know. I don't know if man really knows that. I mean, what we perceive is based upon what we think we're seeing, and that ain't always reality. But as the universe supposedly expands into, my question, and I have stood there in my mind at that singularity. So here, check that out. That's what's in the center. The sun, as they would say. So what is the universe expanding into? I mean, what is it? Stephen Hawkins has thought about it, Carl Sagan, others, and I've meditated on that. What is that? If this is consciousness, if this is thought, then there has to be something that exists beyond thought. Something that was here that cannot be defined, cannot be rational away with reasoning or logic or spirituality or religion. It can't be solved by philosophy. It can't be solved by anything that man can conceive, because in this density, the way we have been programmed and locked down in our minds genetically, there's not enough time for us to figure it out. Anyway, that's the thought. So again, everybody, hey, got the Sky Pilot right here. We'll do the old virtual hug. How's it doing? Yeah. So, hey, I want to share something with you. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, there it is. So, back in my days in Austin, Texas, had a great company. I was the CEO of. It was back in the days when we were defining the internet. The internet wasn't defined. There wasn't any social media. There wasn't any digital phones. But my company, we were in the thick of it. And the reason why, when I saw this, I said, oh man, talk about triggering memories. This is the Library Club in on 6th Street, on the corner of 6th Street and Trinity. And off to the left over here in the next building and upstairs was our offices. And folks, it was a cool time. I mean, yeah. Uh Wild days back then, and creativity was abounding. And why this picture has so much meaning, up here on there is this second floor, and there's this table right up here. There are some tables over here, but we actually held a board meeting there. Yeah. And my employees loved it on Friday because the music would start getting cranked up, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So, love Austin, Texas. It's just a coolest place ever. If you ever get a chance to visit it, I would highly recommend it. It is fantastimal, as they would say. So here we go. Hey, Cheesesteak, what's up? True Helper, good to see ya. It's good that, we're not living in this time zone. Yesterday, someone pointed out there was like a 7-minute delay at one point. Well, that's time traveling. Love the tea. So Trina and I talked about that. Wasn't that a great show yesterday? Man, I mean, that was in the top 5. Hey, Shannon, what's up? And man, I tell you, if you're ever feeling down, go and watch that video. You won't be down for very long. So we talked about, hey, Nina, what's up, girl? Yeah, I am behind on my emails, folks. I am literally about a week behind. So I'll catch up. Just, hey, Mary Wins, what's up? Just bear with me. I've been writing a lot. So there you go. So we talked about the hum. The hum. Folks, this is a reality. This is real. And today we're going to look at the technology that is driving this, because this is something else. I told you about, and it's, I've seen no confirmation. Listen, if the military doesn't, I doubt it. I do not doubt it that they have not, in fact, captured what we call a Bigfoot. I believe they have. And if the U.S. military or CIA thinks that there's something else sharing our space, they're going to check that out for sure. Hey, Gaia, what's up, Deborah Sloan? So the background hum, it's there. It's weird because sound controls everything. Frequency, vibration. There's a sound that we can't detect. I often say in the spirit realm, there has to be a whole set of new physics as far as natural laws are concerned. The spirit realm has to have natural laws. I can't imagine that it doesn't. And, I meditate on this quite a bit. I've asked this question. So do spirits need to consume energy? How do they maintain their energy? How can it be that some energies are really strong, some energies are really weak? How do we see? How do we hear? Even if it's by telepathy, there is still natural law, one would think. I found this article really, this is kind of the stuff that really is the mind coitus. It scrambles your brain. So this is from bigthink.com. U.S. Navy controls inventions that claim to change the fabric of reality. Yeah. What is the fabric of reality? Well, obviously, we could say time. We can give, I think, dimension, space. I mean, these are just, anyway, the article goes and says the U.S. Navy holds patents for enigmatic inventions of aerospace engineer Dr. Salvatore Pius. I've went and looked at his patents. Holy crap. This guy's got to be an alien. He has to be an off-worlder. Pius came up with the technology that can engineer reality, devising an ultra-fast craft, a fusion reactor, and more. While mostly theoretical, at this point, the inventions could transform energy, space, and military sectors. You know, it's always going to have the military. They're already there. But it goes in, and we're not going to get into all of this because I'll put the link and you can check it out. It's worth checking out. Trust me. This is some mind-bending stuff. Einstein theorized this. There have been many great theoretical physicists who have hypothesized that you can get to a place in amplitude of speed where it separates itself from all dimensional barriers. That's weird. Now imagine if you can control the egress and the ingress of such a vessel. This shit sounds like time travel to me. Altering reality. And I have contended, there have been many great discussions on the Mandela effect, that how would we know if our reality has been altered? How would we know? You wouldn't. So check it out. You know, listen, if man, Homo sapiens, the greatest gift that we have is that we can create. This has now been created as a thought form, and to file a patent, it's not a simple process. The prior artwork has to be all here. So check it out, baby. It will be really cool. So boots on the ground, how you doing? All right, let's talk about what's happening. I want to get to this PowerPoint that I put together because it's really cool. It is. And so follow along. What is your sign, right? Infrasound. What the heck is infrasound? Well, infrasound has more effect on our brains than what we have ever thought, been taught, and now they've been caught. How's that? Infrasound, sometimes referred as low frequency sound, describes sound waves with a frequency below the lower limit of audibility, generally about 20 hertz. Hearing becomes gradually less sensitive as frequency decreases. So for humans to perceive infrasound, the sound pressure must be sufficiently high. Do you know that there is a syndrome that women actually have? And that is that they can't hear men. Men talk at a lower vibration, a lower frequency. Women speak at a higher range. And there are genetically women who cannot hear men. I don't know. Some would say that is almost a real blessing, huh? The ear is the primary organ for sensing sound, but at a higher intensity it is possible to feel your body, infrasound vibrations in various parts of your body. And we talked about this yesterday. By the way, here's a trivia question. What organ in the body can taste besides the tongue? I'll give you the answer later. The study of such sound waves is sometimes referred to as infrasonics, covering sounds beneath the 20 hertz down to 0.1 hertz and rarely down to 0.001 hertz. That's 1,000th hertz. People use this frequency range for monitoring earthquakes, volcanoes, charting rock. Yeah, this is how they find petroleum, gold, other precious minerals below the earth. And also, this isn't interesting, the ballistic cardiography. It's and the seismocardiography is the study of the mechanics of the heart. The heart, folks, is amazing. Your attitude, your latitude has so much, and these are not mere platitudes. These are, in fact, the beatitudes that what your heart can do. That's what the Christ spoke about. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. You know, laughter doeth the heart as a what? Good medicine. If a heart is broken, sorrow and depression and death will come. People can die of a broken heart. That's a low frequency. Sources of infrasound are in the range from very low frequency atmospheric fluctuations up to the lower audible frequencies. These sources include natural occurrences, industrial installations, low-speed machinery. There is a health effect about being around these large wind turbines. They create an infrasound that is harmful to humans and harmful for other life. Fact. Investigations of complaints of low frequency noise often fail to measure any significant noise. This has led to some complaints to conjecture that their perception arises from non-acoustic sources, such as, get this, folks, electromagnetic radiation. 5G, 4G, 3G, whatever your GB, it generates a frequency pulse. Here's some examples of infrasound and ultrasound. A lot of us are familiar with ultrasounds. You know, you go in for an MRI. That's using sound and magnetics, right? People who use it to monitor earthquakes, charting rocks, as I said. Animals perceive these waves and use them as an early warning for natural disaster. Every thunderstorm, every storm produces these frequencies, these sounds. And the interesting thing about ultrasound is that it's not only used for hunting. Bats do it, we do it. It's what our submariners do, but it's also used to find flaws in the materials. Isn't that odd? And measure the thickness of objects. So if we can find the flaw in, metal, same applies for our bodies. Question I ask is, what frequency do spirits use? They have to be on a frequency, a vibration. Mysteriously snuffed out candles, weird sensations and shivers down your spine may not be due to the presence of ghosts in a haunted house, but to a very low frequency sound that is inaudible to humans. Now, folks, get this. This is really important. British scientists, this is from NBC News, by the way. British scientists have shown in a controlled experiment that the extreme bass sound known as infrasound produces a range of bizarre effects in people, including anxiety, extreme sorrow, wow, and chills, supporting popular suggestions of a link between infrasound, strange sensations, and electromagnetic energy. This is what they have discovered about these Bigfoot creatures. And it's not, doesn't surprise me. Whales do it. Many, many animals communicate in this. So what we have here with the Earth now, the Earth is now encrusted, encased, imprisoned by sound. We have more satellites covering the earth. It's a trash pile up there. And we're putting thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands more up there. This is not good, folks. So these are the sources of infrasound. They're all around us. If you're up and you get in the Arctic Circle and you get to see the aurora borealis, you can hear it. People have said it has it's a deep sound, and it crackles. Satellites. These are all sound contamination, folks. There was a time when humans lived on a planet that was only to the natural infrasound, and we became much more in tune to the earth. Not today. We can't hear it. We can't perceive it. And here, where I live in Colorado, more people have died this year of avalanches, and it's really interesting what sound does to that. The Schumann resonance, we're all familiar with this. This is the frequency of the earth. Again, bats, dolphins, submarines, all use the same sound. And like our sight, this is what is weird. Our sight is about 2% of the visible light spectrum. Look at the low range of our audible ability. Humans are extremely restricted and limited. Compared to the animals, we're really a base below them, undeveloped. I think at one time we had better. Now, this is an actual charting of these background infrasounds. If we all had one of these devices, I think we would all freak out, because you would begin to see how many of us are targeted. They're using this as a weapon. Sound has a direct effect on the body, which affects the spirit and can control. And if you control a spirit by sound, I wonder. You see, this is what in all my studies, whether it was the early Hebrews, if it was Solomon, if it was Tesla, we know sound controls, sound kills, sound heals. I contend that the spirit can be directly impacted by sound. This is where it starts to get funky. These are being used on the civilian populations as I speak. I'm talking about energy weapons. Energy weapons include sound. We've known this. Neurons grow into an electrode in a cone shape, right? Now, we talk about implants, nano implants. Let me just tell you this reality. The human beings of 2021 are fundamentally, you ready for this? Physiologically different than the human beings of 1800. Today, you and I, all humans, have plastic in them. Plastic is now part of our chemical makeup. And that can be a whole discussion at another time. But anyway, so we know that with transmitters, and this has all been done by the CIA, Black Ops, DARPA, that you can literally manipulate the neurons in your brain. They can make you think God is talking to you. Now, this technology, this patent was from 1974. They've had a lot of time. These are the new weapons. They've been in development for nearly 50 years, and they're now in the field. This weapon here is a microwave weapon that if the target is hit with this sonic weapon, and that's what it is, it begins to destroy the skin cells. It burns. Many of us have felt the sun like that at times. So here is an audible weapon deployed by police departments in the United States. They're portable, and if you get hit by one of these, you're going to feel nauseous, sick. If they use the higher amplitudes, the sound can become deafening. These are the large devices. Isn't it I could get into that, but we'll move on. Here, you can see them being deployed for crowd control. And that device right up there is one of the microwave devices. They turn that thing on and, you can't get away from it fast enough. This is the Garverou's infrasonic whistle. This is a death ray, literally, using sound. This cat, there it is right there. When this thing gets turned on, you're dead. You're dead. What they found in development of it, they discovered something that I think people like Tesla knew. Here's the thing. It generates such a low frequency sound waves at the 10 hertz, it causes illness in coworkers and formed cracks in the office walls. Devised a sonic death ray of sorts. Yeah. Now, where have we seen this before? We know our diplomats in Cuba were victims of these audible death rays. That's what they are. Many of them will never be the same. When you start aiming at the flesh, particularly the brain, the intensities of these sound waves, these microwaves, these infrasonic waves, it does damage. Now, interesting, as I was looking at that, they actually had these devices in World War II. It's about control. They found that they can give you migraines. And if you ever find your nose suddenly bleeding or blood coming out of your ear, you have been attacked. You do not know when they take control. Certain people are very susceptible to these inaudible suggestions. I'll put it that way. And now, all of us, I have mine, you have yours, near you right here. These devices generate an inaudible infrasonic wave. And now they can hack into your computer using what they call voice assistants using ultrasonic waves. We're bathed in it. We're literally like fish in the ocean. We live in a constant electromagnetic, ultrasonic, infrasonic soup. There's no escaping it. And we've seen evidence of the more sinister side of these direct energy weapons called DO. The interesting thing on this little white paper was the fact that the best mosquito repellent you can buy, and they're range in different cost, but they're about the size of a silver dollar. And you put them on. If you happen to be exceptionally sensitive to mosquitoes, get 2 or 3. You turn them on and they emit these ultrasonic waves that mosquitoes can't tolerate, no matter how hungry the little bastards are. So infrasound, again, we know whales, elephants, rhinoceroses, the okapi, the alligator, all of these use these weapons. And here is one weapons, this frequency. This is the infrasonic brainwave amplifier. What do you think it's doing? Well, Steiger, it says it's amplifying the brain waves from infrasonic. Yeah, but you know, let me tell you how interesting this is. Infrasound can travel for hundreds of miles. Now, if you could communicate to another human being that's 100 miles away, this is, again, measuring them. This is an ultrasonic cannon. It's a shoulder-fired device that produces ultra infrasonic waves that affect both living and non-living material. It can destroy concrete and, with enough focus, metal. And if it hits you, goodbye, Charlie. Good time, Charlie's got the blues. Anyway, here is one of the sound deterrents. I think this is another police force. Here is what they used in World War II. It's an interesting effect. They couldn't, I guess, have the technology back then, but if you were to roll these into the battlefield, you could incapacitate the enemy very quickly. And in a battlefield situation, all you need is a very momentary deflector, something that confuses them, and this would confuse them. Now, all of this, check it out. It's all there. These are now the latest, greatest direct energy weapons. They now are mounted from aircraft. They're mounted from buildings. Many suspect that what happened in California was a direct result of this. We know in Iraq and Afghanistan, in that theater, they're testing all of this out. The TR-3s, that's where we first really knew that they were operational and they were being used in combat situations. Yeah, they don't like to talk about it. They now know that from anything from the F-35 Raptor, I don't know if they could actually retrofit these on the F-18s, maybe, I don't know. I know the F-22s, they are adaptable to this, where they can now mount these direct energy weapons on the craft. This is the one for the Navy. This one right here, as I read the specs on it, it'll do some damage on any ship, any land. It has a limit, but within the parameters, it's extremely deadly. This is the Israelis. Get this, folks. This produces a light beam unlike anything we have ever seen. Do you see the apparatus up at the upper right-hand corner? I have ISS footage of that same device. And if it is the same device, that produces an energy beam brighter than the sun. Weird, isn't it? Some people say in the Santa Rosa fires that here's what they said. Firefighters reported it was like we were being nuked. Never seen anything like it. On the other hand, military intelligence agencies recently announced publicly that they've been testing direct energy weapons mounted to aircraft. Here is a capture of what these weapons can do. Again, this is the Navy. Wouldn't want to be, I wouldn't want to stand on the other side of that thing. Here is another model. The thing about these devices is, well, they can cause heart attacks. They can cause people to momentarily black out. I drove around in the city on Sunday and was shocked to see how many new emitting panels I'm seeing going up everywhere. These emitters emit these waves, these acoustic waves, these energy waves, and I know because I know one of the people in our soul tribe has been suffering from that. And it will cause you depression. This is an artist concept of apparently what these weapons are now. I mean, they've weaponized space, folks. Don't think that they haven't. Again, this is in the theater of Iraq. This is how these weapons work. They're extremely focused, extremely targeted, and the kill zone is amazing, as they say, because you have less of an opportunity for collateral damage, meaning human beings. Again, just so you know that they're there. This is called, I call it the big eye. If this is what they say it is, folks, we don't stand a chance. This is what these weapons can do. Literally from, a high altitude orbit. And we're going to see that they have the technology. This is what they call the B93B Wasp. It's a direct energy pulse weapon. They can aim it at you and literally make it like you're having a seizure. And if you happen to have cardiovascular issues, you'll drop like a lead balloon. This is, again, one of the portable sonic weapons. I don't know. You look at these devices, and here are the new tasers. I saw this and I went, well, isn't that just special? But folks, the point is that all of this is out there. Every bit of it. And when you look at it, it's all right. Let me just show you. We'll keep it moving. So these are all PDFs. This is a PDF, and actually this is from Australia. This is an interesting paper. It's very informative. This is direct energy weapons playing with quantum fire. And this paper is about the discussion. Michael Spencer, who is the author of this paper, talks about what Australia was dealing with. Because, I think there are moral and ethical issues obviously tied to this type of technology and what it can do. And quite frankly, here's my whole point about this. So why have it? I mean, what is really the point of it? If you're using it for a weapon of war, then what good is that? I want to read this executive summary, and it's real quick, but it's worth it. Direct energy weapons originate from exploiting quantum behaviors occurring on the subatomic scale to convert energy from one form into another form for exploiting a vulnerability in a target to cause disruption, damage, or destruction. I ask why? Couldn't we turn that technology and make it into available free energy source begin to power our machines in a whole different way of thinking. Why are we using these weapons for war, to kill? Do weapons use specialized laws govern and design the uses of direct energy weapons? Folks, if you have a freaking committee that is now telling you what you can and cannot do with these weapons, they don't need to exist at all. Like the military will go, oh yeah, we'll pay attention to that. The typical design for a DO weapon includes subsystems for a power supply, energy source, energy converter, beam director, thermal management, and platform integration. The DO needs to be integrated to other systems needed for mission planning, command and control, and target acquisition and tracking, for example. You know, when you read words such as, let's see, mission planning, command and control, target acquisition and tracking. You know, if you're the target, these are not words you want to hear altogether. DO requires accurate pointing to hold the energy beam steady, to dwell on a target for a long enough time. And get this, folks, here's how those weapons work. To transfer energy adequate to cause a material or design failure in the target or disrupt the electrical circuitry. That your body absorbs this energy, and as it continues to absorb it, you're going to reach a point where it can't absorb anymore, and there you go. DO damage mechanisms can range from low energy temporarily dazzling of aircraft, spacecraft optical sensors, inflicting heat discomfort and injury to combatants, to high energy catastrophic damage of material systems, including aircraft. Are you ready for this? Spacecraft. Again, if you have to use the word aircraft and spacecraft, I'm not seeing the upside to this. I'm just not. It's not the energy output of a DO, but the energy that is absorbed by the target that is significant to plan the designs and damage effects of DO. Some targets, such as re-entering ICBM warheads and hypersonic missiles, may use materials that are designed to resist and survive high temperatures. Some materials may reflect the light energy away from the target. No, you don't want to be in the path of the reflection of that. Then it goes into the cost benefit, like, yeah, sure. And then here you go. This is how these weapons work. We learn here. And this is not something, you know, we cover a lot of different subjects. This is science. Deadly science, may I add. So you have to, if we're going to build one for ourselves, we need an electrical power subsystem. And there are many options that we can choose from. Then with that, we need what they call an energy subsystem, separate from what you would normally be pulling from your electrical. Now, from that, we have a number of choices as to energy source, energy converter, energy regulator, system status monitor, which then gives us the safety shutdown mechanism. Got to have a safety button, remember? There's the management subsystems. They explained all that. The energy direct subsystem has a platform stabilization, a beam focuser, an aiming device, a beam director, a target rangefinder, a target tracker, a no fire direction blanking. Okay. And then we have the platform integration. This all gives us ancillary systems of targeting, vulnerability, weaponeering, mission planning, rules of engagement. I always love this. Well, we're in a war. Well, nope, we have rules here. Identification, friend or foe. Yeah. Situational awareness, command and control, environmental monitoring, personal protective equipment, and others. This is a fabulous, fabulous document. You will learn how this goes back to Archimedes. Archimedes knew that if he could just control the sun, he just didn't have the material. And you got the whole issue of, focusing and, et cetera, et cetera. But it has been around with us for a very long time. Now, this guy, Dr. Preston T Bailey, PhD, he is a remarkable dude. He really is. He's worked with DARPA, CIA, blah, 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 blah. The reality of psychotronic weapons today. This is mind control, folks. Mind control in such a way. Now, here's our former Homeland Security secretary. She said something on her way out. She was under the Obama administration. That, well, was interesting. This is what her predictions were. A massive and serious cyber attack on the U.S. Now, we've been under World War III conditions cyberly for almost 2 decades, if not longer. But we just saw that the Fed was hacked by what they suspect is a foreign government. And folks, the enormity of the Fed being hacked, for me, it's incomprehensible. I know those systems. And they broke through those firewalls. She said, this is going to be a serious attack on the United States. She also said, and I can't quite figure this one out, a natural disaster, the likes of which the nation has never seen and is also likely on its way. These people speak in code, man. I mean, what the hell is that? Electromagnetic energy weapons? They look harmless, don't they? Looks just like a satellite array to me, Steiger. Yeah, well, that's just it. Here's one for those of you who are great curiosity seekers. Go and check out Project Soulcatcher. What a name! For instance, Secrets of Cyber and Cybernetic Warfare reveals the cybernetic mind controlled by the CIA and their use of psychotronic weapons and their pursuit to weaponize neuropsychology. What? Electromagnetic system technology. This was the neurophone. This patent was in 1968. It was a device that converts sound to electrical impulses, sometimes called, are you ready for this? The voice of God. Or makes a person think he or she is crazy. When the signals are sent to the brain, it makes a person think that God is speaking to him or her, or even an alien. And I'll add, you can begin to think that you're channeling something. Yeah, you're channeling something, all right, baby. You're channeling a script. It targets the unique bioelectrical resonance frequency using his or her, are you ready for this? I've told you this before. Trina and I talked about this, the vibrational pattern. That's how you're going to be recognized over in the spirit realm. In the brain called the signature, and it acts like an audio receiver. Is this how the ancients heard from gods? That they were nothing more than ETs using this technology? Makes one think. Could it be that they have maybe beamed the same technology into 3 children and then bringing the dazzling lights to a crowd of over 5,000? The Psychoacoustic Projector. This patent has 2 both issued in 1992. This is a non-aural carrier in extreme audio frequency ranges, are amplified or modulated with the desired material and propagated acoustically for direct inducement into the brain. You know, the cranium, your skull is not that thick, folks. This is an excellent method of influencing people without their knowledge and is used in advertising. You see, we all been victims of this. None of us are immune. Methods and systems for altering consciousness. I just showed you what the Navy is patenting. This patent was, there's two of them, one in 92 and the second one in 94. These systems stimulate the brain with different frequencies and waveforms to alter the subject's state of consciousness. The electromagnetic field, the EMF, monitoring and interference is one of the most insidious and secretive of all methods used by these agencies. You see, we all think it's so freaking cool when we had high definition. Most people just thought it was a pretty picture, but they never study the technology. Your TV is a receiver and a transmitter. It has eyes on you all the time, and it doesn't need a camera, but most do have a camera in them. Cover your TV if you're going to be intimate. Microwave weapons, a hearing system, U.S. patent 4877027, issued in 1989, and a hearing device issued in 89 as well. The first known experiment with microwaved voices was conducted by Sharp and Grove in the early 70s. However, the Defense Intelligence Agency and ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency, are principally to blame for the abuse of such technology since Project Pandora, the CIA's Langley Research Center, as well as numerous scientists working on the Energy Defense Department labs across the United States are also responsible. Brainwave monitors and analyzers. When the brainwave pattern of an individual, get this, folks, this is what I'm talking about, is detected. You see, they don't need your damn DNA. Your body emits a unique signature. Now, when the brainwave pattern of an individual is detected from the use of one of numerous types of detectors, such as satellite, these brainwave signals are sent to monitor with a computer. These brainwaves patterns are interpreted through a brainwave vocabulary that records the thoughts in words. Facebook is already using this technology. I don't know why you folks are on them, but anyway, the NSA monitors the brain waves of their targets by satellite and decode and evoke potentials, typically in the 3.5 hertz or the 5 milliwatts range that the brain emits. So, using lasers, satellites, and high-powered computers, the agencies have now gained the ability to decipher human thoughts, and from a considerable distance, almost instantaneously. Check me out on this. Facebook has been using this technology. I have no doubt that YouTube and the rest of them are as well. Psychotronic Weapons, Russian former Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev with a psychotronic gun. I don't know if this is true or not. I think that you would have a lot of miniaturizing of components. They say that this is still in development. It's a development project, but the potential for mayhem is unimaginable. Russia is currently working on weapons that employ electromagnetic radiation to directly affect the central nervous system, the root of all sensory processing, in a variety of unpleasant ways. The weapon will most likely build on existing research that shows the ability of low-frequency microwaves to affect brain function, alter moods, and transmit false sensory data. Although this may seem like the X-Files stuff, the scientific basis is there. It's up to some unscrupulous weapons designer to put it into practice. Again, this was the long-range acoustic device I showed you. Sound waves have the potential to deal tremendous damage at loud enough amplitudes. Think about a sonic boom, for instance. But you don't need a jet engine to turn sound into a weapon. The long-range acoustic device is a creation of the American Technology Corporation that was originally designed to defend safe zones around boats. It produces an incredibly loud noise that can travel almost 1,000 feet in a targeted beam. And if the frequency amplified enough, it can cause legitimate physical pain in its victims. This is the Dazzer Laser. This is an interesting device. Of all the senses you use in the battlefield, vision is probably the most important. So disrupting that can turn the tide in war. One of the most effective sensory weapons on the market right now is the Dazzer Laser, made by Laser Energetics, using a green laser source that emits both a continuous and pulse wave. The range of the unit can be adjusted to as far as 2,400 meters. That's 1.5 miles. One shot of the laser targeted at the eye area can completely incapacitate the victim for several minutes, long enough for them to be subdued non-lethally. I showed you this distributed sound and light array debilitator. The most effective sensory weapons are ones that can engage and disorientate multiple methods of input as well. Colloquially known as the puke ray, the distributed sound and light array debilitator generates sound and light in a specific sequence designed to overload the brain's processors, generating feelings of uneasy and discomfort. Prolonged exposure can result in even more unpleasant effects, including nausea and vomiting. Some scientists are even working towards producing a portable version the size of a flashlight that can be used on an individual. This is the pulse energy projectiles. This is the Medusa. These are all sensory weapons. This one uses audio. It's tied to a tank or military vehicle that uses audio to disorient and confuse targets, but it skips the ear entirely. The Medusa, a product of Sierra Nevada Corporation, doesn't create sound in a conventional way. Instead, it uses pulses of microwave radiation to generate shock waves inside the skull that are detected by the ears from within. So earplugs won't help you at all. It can generate painful white noise and even recognizable speech that sounds like it's coming from the inside of your brain. You know, folks, with everything, and I have 7 other papers that get into this. I mean, it's here, it's real, and my question is why? This is scary crap. I mean, and we look in our cities, you can't go into the national forest now because the national forests have these emitters and receivers disguised like, you know, a tree or a cactus plant. But again, and now with Musk, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Musk is putting up 40,000 low orbiting satellites. He says he wants to bring the internet to the whole world. Okay, it's a novel and notable idea. But still, when you've got competing companies putting those things up there, man has a way of screwing things up. So anyway, Wi-Fi, Sherry, that's what Wi-Fi is. It's Wi-Fi. I mean, that's why you got to have the Organite and everything else around your office. You know, you got to have this, you know, like in Get Smart, you need this the zone of silence, the cone of it. And this one blocks out all this crap. And I'm convinced that for many of us, they're jerking our chains. They'll turn these devices on and we're having a bad day. We're going to say, well, it's Mercury in retrograde. Might have been in the past, but I have a sense that it's been commandeered. Interesting. You can't shoot your guns. Yeah. Spirit woman, I agree. Why do they need this? You know, I got to tell you, we think that we're being entertained, but it's like the movie in the Twilight Zone, you know, when the aliens came down and they made everything so much better. And then they said, well, come visit our planet. And they left once they took large groups of humans aboard. They left our leaders with a book that they could not decipher. And it was one of the scientists on board the spaceship that I believe figured out the cipher, and it was a cookbook for humans. And why not? I mean, if you were an alien watching humanity, why wouldn't you come down and abduct us, kill us, murder us, rape us? That's what we do to ourselves. And we don't bat an eye about it. So if I'm an alien species observing Earth, I would have to say, well, maybe that's their custom. Maybe they kill each other and inflict pain on each other because that's their custom. I think it is our custom. So, well, wasn't this a fun one? This was this one was deep because it's something they're doing to us. And if the wrong person ever gets control and you start having this mass mind effect, folks, it could be a real rough day right here in, you know, the Windy City. I mean, this planet is the trailer park of the universe. I think you're right. Wow. Folks, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun. We're going to continue from time to time to revisit this because, listen, if this is reality, and you're not going to tell me that a deity, let's say a God deity, only way it can be a deity is if its vibration is at such a frequency, such a high point that flesh cannot be in the presence. And I think that goes for the reverse as well. Just me. All right, folks. Hopefully the sun sees. Paul Joe. Yeah. That's what we need is some kind of you know, solar flash that doesn't kill us, but knocks out all the satellites. But then, you know, we just go back to the 70s. I mean, I knew how to drive and get directions. I had to learn how to read a map in the 70s, and I never was inconvenienced. I had an 8-track tape player in my van. Didn't have a phone. You know, didn't have FM radio, but I had my 8-track. Got along just fine. Had a bumper sticker on it that said, "Don't laugh, your daughter has been in here too." But anyway, I got pulled over more by cops for that. But it was a great bumper sticker because anyway, I digress. So let's continue on. That's all I got to say. All right, folks. Thank you. Much love to y'all. Keep smiling. And it's, you know, we may not be able to do much up there, but we can do some work in here. That's the way well, you're welcome, Deborah. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Well, Awesome Space, you're welcome as everyone is. All right, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. and have yourself a great one today. The sun is shining here. It's warm. Spring is in the air. What was that song? Love is in the air. Yep. See y'all. Yep. See you tomorrow. Unless we're going to do the time travel thing, which technically, you see, this is where I can't see about the future, because what if I was to change my mind? Would that had already been predicted in the future? Would it already been written that, well, he could change his mind 2 or 3 times, but this is what he'll eventually do? Now, am I playing the script, or am I the originator?